I really wanted to take a flight, but it was a Sunday, the weather was great, there was a wonderful horizon, so it was perfect for students to learn, and I didn't hold out very much hope. But there's no harm in asking, so I went across to the old club that I used to be a member of when I was learning. There's me getting out of the plane after my very first solo. The club's changed hands since I was a member there, but the atmosphere was still the same, and the clubhouse was more or less the same. Really good to be back. And Lewis was very helpful.
Well, if I'm smiling, it's because I've just struck a bit of luck. I'm going to get a half-hour flight in a Cherokee. They haven't got a Warrior available, but I'm going up in a Cherokee.
So grab the cameras and race back over on Muriel. And a short walk out to the airplane is Golf Alpha Victor Sierra Delta, a 1967 Cherokee with a 180 horsepower engine. So she's going to go well. Unfortunately, because it was so impromptu, I hadn't got the right sort of cameras and setup. So it was just I did the best I could. And Lewis was very helpful. He knew what I was doing and why I was doing it, so he helped out quite a lot. I had a bit of a struggle to get in. The trouble with these Pipers is that there's a door only on one side, and it's not on the pilot side.
I'll leave that there for you.
Okay, thank you.
I'll be back in about 5 minutes.
Okay, but I managed in the end.
Well, I've made it. I'm sitting in the left-hand seat. So I'm going to be pilot. And this is a Cherokee. I've not been in a Cherokee before. Very similar to look at as a Warrior, but the instruments. This is a 1967 plane, and the instruments are basically the same, obviously, but one big difference is the throttle is a push knob with a mixture, another push knob, whereas the Warrior had the thing that you push backwards and forwards anyway. So I'm getting excited, and we're going to fly over Pattyngham and Bridgnorth. Lewis, the young man who's going to take me up, he left me in the aeroplane while he goes and sorts out some paperwork, but I see he's very carefully taken the ignition key with him, so I can't nip off on my own. Oh dear, this is going to be good.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, perfect. I'll see you up there.
Right, let's check this. I was on, came down for one lesson, and Bob said, I won't be in a few minutes, just pop out and get this thing ready. So I went round doing the checks, and it's the first flight of the day that tied down.
Yes.
And I untied the one side, checked the fuel, and I forgot to untie the other side. I was just about to let the brake off to taxi away, and Ian came running across waving his arms, and he just got underneath the wing and untied it and walked off again.
Oh.
Well, I said to Bob, he took that very calmly, didn't he? He said he ought to, he did it himself last week.
While Lewis does all the checks, I have the pleasure of sitting and watching.
Okay, perfect.
Clipper up.
Time to fire up. And it starts first time.
To make sure that they were able to.
And we're cleared for taxi to the holding point for runway 34. But we have to let that helicopter go first. Come on, out the way. That's better.
The aircraft I did my first solo in
Yeah.
was written off just after I'd done it.
Was it?
Somebody on their first solo took off, decided he didn't like to be in the air and tried to land again straight away. Let the plane off.
The aircraft I had my first lesson in crashed into a hedge a few weeks after. Everybody was
I
fine.
can't hear anything at all though.
Oh, you can't? You need to plug in.
We arrive at the holding point, turn into the wind, to our power checks. Both magnetos, fine. All looking good. We taxi out onto the runway, take off with our discussion.
About 20 years. Well, apart from big planes.
Yes.
Yeah.
The runway coming up on the left now is where I did my first solo landing. That one. There was a bit of a crosswind and it was a little bit bumpy, but not too bad. And I had the controls for a while. Oh, it felt lovely to be back at it.
Where we're going now actually is where I did that last way to the airfield.
Another great thing about this flight was that part of it was the same route that I took on my first and last solo away from the airfield flight. And that was 28 years ago. The town we just flew over was Bridgenorth, and now we're looking at the top of the Clee Hills, and the earthworks around there. But all too soon it was time to return, and we did an overhead join, and then Lewis gave me a good look down at the airfield. Down to circuit height, down a wind, and then the base leg, and home. And finally, finals to land. It's all over.
We're doing over 95 miles an hour.
Well, we've still got a bit of crosswind, but he's making a good job of it. Lewis wants to become an airline pilot, and I genuinely wish him all the very best. Well, at least we didn't bounce. I've bounced a few times in crosswinds.
It's quite them.
Yeah, mine too.
I can tell you I really thoroughly enjoyed that flight, and I strongly suspect it will be the last time I ever go up in a small aeroplane. So I thank you all very much, and I can highly recommend Flight Path at Halfpenny Green Airport. Very friendly, lovely little club.
And a serious dive. Yeah, well, it was very serious because I was in Iran and they were doing trial flights, and I got there some friends. Well, we work out there, they're colleagues. And this Iranian pilot. Oh, that was wonderful. Thank you ever so much indeed.
Very, very welcome.
Very kind of you.
As I've said before, it's 28 years ago since I did my first solo. That's the plane I did it in. That's me flying away in the distance on my first solo. You can just see me in the middle of the photograph. And there's one happy chappy getting out of the plane at the end of it. I was a happy chappy then, and I was a happy chappy today.
Well, there's a cafe in the tower, in the control tower, so I'm going over there. They're still serving hot meals. I'm going over there now.
And surprisingly enough, it's called the Tower Cafe, and it's up there, just under the control tower. It was busy, really busy. I had to share a table. But you get a good view of the airfield from the balcony there. Good place for spotting. And there's that lovely little plane I was in.